Hello, I, hello, hello, I'm Mr. Zack, and welcome to Solvang Library Crafternoon. No, we're not having breakfast today, although you can have cereal any time of day. No, we have empty boxes, so we're gonna do some crafts with cereal boxes and cardboard crafts today. So, thank you for joining me, and we've got three fun crafts to do. That range in skill level and complexity from very simple to a little bit more complex. And we're going to go on this journey together because a couple of them I haven't tried yet. So we're going to try them live. So let's see how this goes. So the first one, let's talk supplies. So we need some food boxes, cardboard food boxes, cereal boxes, anything like that works great. Um, some basic crafting supplies, pen, pencil, rulers are nice. Tape. I have masking tape because that's what I had on hand, but Scotch tape will work. A glue gun, if you like, would be extra good. And for a couple of these projects, we're moving up into craft knife territory, so like X-Acto blades. So this, kids, if you're watching, this is definitely a something to do with the adults. Adult supervision is absolutely necessary, or let the adults do this part. And then there's always a part that the kids can do once the thing has been created. So you don't have to worry about leaving the kids out if you don't want to work with the craft knife. If you don't want them using it, you do all the craft knife work, and then there's definitely stuff that the kids can do. So we're going to start with, let's see, we are starting with the simplest one. And I like this box because it's nice and small and it's got a nice big graphic on it. And so we're going to take this box and we're going to make a postcard. So I'll just start with my scissors and I'm going to cut a nice rectangle. Now this could work, you could certainly do this with a cereal box. Just pick a nice graphic area that you like. Just happens to be the perfect size for me. So so you see I'm just cutting this out. There's that. Okay, so now I have my nice Pop-Tart image, and this becomes a postcard. So as we've seen with postcards, a nice rounded edge is always fun. Clean it up, make it look a little nicer. And then just a little couple touches, and then it's ready to go. Doesn't take much, so that's what I mean. It's definitely the simplest one. So we're going to take our pen now. So here's our postcard side. Here's our graphic side. And we're just going to draw a line down the middle, but it doesn't have to go all the way down, and I will show you what I mean. So like that. And then on the right-hand side, my right, I don't know if that's flipping for you, but on this side, right hand when you're looking down, we'll draw three parallel lines for the address. And you're wondering, okay, so if the little ones aren't doing this stage, what are they doing? Well, when we make this postcard, if they want, we can have them write the message on the other side, because it's always nice to get a postcard from somebody. And these days when we're all kind of getting by how we can, it'd be nice to get a postcard from a little one, grandparents, friends, family. So here's the interior of our postcard now. So we've got space for the address and space for the message, and we've left space up here for a postage stamp and then the return address right there. So I'm going to write a postcard to my brother. So his name is Justin. So I'll put Justin. I'll fill in the rest of the address later. And I'll say, hey, bro, I'm writing this live on Facebook for the library Crafternoon. Be well, bro. So, nice and simple. There's the message to my brother. I'll fill in the address later. I'll throw a little stamp there. I'll put a return address there. And then in a few days, hopefully, he'll get a nice little Pop-Tart postcard in the mail. Now, who wouldn't want to get a little postcard like this in the mail? So, like I said, if you want to do this, all this cutting out and drawing the lines, and then if you want to give this to your little ones and have them decorate this side or write a letter in this side or do something to friends, family, anybody that might appreciate a little postcard in the mail. This is a nice little activity, very easygoing, super simple. And it's nice because you can find interesting graphic elements on all of these boxes. So that's the first craft, postcards. So the second craft is also going to use the graphic element, and it gets a little bit more complicated, but in a fun way, we hope. So we're going to take this, and this is where we start to get into the craft knife. So this has a nice big graphic element here. So I'm going to start with this. So I'm going to take the X-Acto and I'm going to cut this section out. And then I'm going to show you what we do with this later. So we start with the X-Acto. Be very, very careful with this. Always pay attention to what's underneath what you're cutting. I like a little cutting mat so I don't end up slicing into the tabletop, which I've done before. And this doesn't have to be exactly straight lines. So we are just going to cut out that graphic because it's going to give us a nice big image to play with. And this is where the little ones come in once you're done with this step. Okay, so now we have all right, a little cleanup. Okay. All right. You can see how we're doing. We're just taking that nice big image off. So then, get rid of we hold on to this for other projects. Postcards would be nice. So now we turn this over so the blank side is down. We can put away our craft knife, keep that safe. And then what we're going to do with the blank side is we're going to draw puzzle pieces on this side. So I'll show you an example. And then this is also depending on the little one who's eventually going to get this. You can adjust the complexity of these puzzle pieces. I'm going to do simple ones just because they're a little faster to draw. Even though they're not altogether fast to draw, but I'll try and do this as quickly as I can. Okay, well, you can see the first two that I'm doing here, just so you get an idea. So that's what we're doing. So this is going to end up breaking this down into a puzzle that then the little ones can put together. And again, we're going to keep it pretty simple. That maybe got too complex. It'll be all right. And if it's too complex, you can always sit with the little one and help them out as you go. But I have a feeling it'll be pretty easy to put this together. The image is nice and big. It's pretty graphic. So it's pretty simple to follow along. As you can see, I'm getting more simple with my shapes as I'm going because I'm trying to keep these expedited because I want to finish this. And so I don't know if you're following along or not. If you're doing your own now, I know it's kind of hard to follow on these videos, but this is the basic idea. And let me just draw a couple more. They don't have to be, super straight or clean. It's very forgiving. Okay, so we've drawn out our entire puzzle, and now we go back to the craft knife. Again, this is for the adults. Craft knife, and now we're going to cut out these individual pieces. And if you don't have a craft knife, you could use a scissors, and I'd say that if you're using a scissors for this project, I would keep the lines as straight as possible. I wouldn't do a lot of curves because that's where scissors get complicated, and they're a little harder to keep those curves going without really bending up the materials. So if you're doing scissors, just do a lot of straight lines, and I'm sure you could get away with that, and it wouldn't be that complicated to do, and it's still going to give plenty of variety for the little ones to play around with. So I'm trying to do this quickly, but I'm also trying to do this without getting any of my fingers in line with the craft knife. That's always the rule, is don't cut toward yourself. So always keep your hand clear of the path of the knife. That's just good advice, I'd say, that I've remember learning as a kid myself. All right, so let me see how I did. I'll just do this first row so you don't have to see the entire process, because I think it's going to make enough sense from here on out. I don't know about you guys, but we have a lot of food boxes that pile up, especially before recycling day. So this is a good thing to do. It's a good way to use these things up, and it's nice to if know that you have craft materials on hand, whether or not you really think about it. It's oftentimes we think, oh, we gotta make a run to the craft store for stuff, and it's like, no, actually, as long as we've got some basics, we can kind of make do with a lot of these things, and it's actually more fun because we're stretching our imagination. And I think for the little ones, it's kind of fun and exciting to see that there's more than one use for an object, and that common object that maybe was overlooked or taken for granted is actually something valuable in a different way. And then once we start looking at things that way, we start to, just like say a cereal box, then we can start to look at other things that way and be like, oh, well, here's this thing that I was going to throw out, and it's it's the cardboard tube for paper towels. So and you start to think, well, what can I do with that? Okay, so here's the bottom that I've cut out, and then from that came these pieces. So you see that we've got now puzzle pieces. So we take these two, and it's like, oh, okay, okay, so those two will fit together. So we fit those together to start the bottom edge. And then this guy is going to fit right in there. And this guy comes in at the very end. So let's see if I'll pick this up and show. So the puzzle's starting to come together. So you can see that these are the individual pieces. So this is a great thing for the little ones. Once you've cut this up, you've followed all these lines with your craft knife, you've created the design, you can then give them this puzzle and say, okay, you've been looking at this cereal box for a while now. We all know what these look like. We've been eating and staring at a cereal box. So now we get to put it together following the puzzle. So there's an easy puzzle that's probably in your recycling right now, ready to go. So that's a nice little craft that you can have fun. And you can also, another part of the process of kind of getting the little one involved is checking in and seeing what image they want to use. Be like, okay, do you want to do, would you like to do a puzzle with this part or this part? You can have fun and play with that. And and use that as part of the interaction. Okay, so that's two, and now we're moving on to the third. And the third one is going to be really interesting because I haven't tried this yet. So we're all going on the fly, and we're going to learn this one together. So we're going to take this kind of enormous box, and we're going to make a marble maze out of it. I don't actually have any marbles, I discovered, but I do have these little wooden beads. So hopefully we'll be able to see what's going on. But so for this one, we're going to need a box, like everything else today. We will need the craft knives again. We will need tape, pair of scissors probably, and marbles or wooden beads or something round that's going to roll in your house. Okay, so we're going to start by getting the craft knife out. Again, this stage is probably all for the adults to do, and then get the kids involved once the maze is, once the ramps have been assembled. So we're going to cut this out. We're cutting the face off of this, and it's a good idea to leave some of the bottom intact, leave it up, so when the marbles hit the bottom, they don't roll out across the floor. So first, safely, we're gonna cut the face off of this guy. And we're leaving a little bit intact. I see we have 4 viewers, and thank you very much for joining live today. It's much appreciated to have you guys here with me. So thank you for being there. And I hope you guys get some fun use out of these crafts. Okay. So, save this. So now we have this open box. So we're going to take this, and we are going to, let's see the best way to do that. Let's do it this way. So we're going to now, now put this aside, we're saving this. Both these parts are getting used. But now we're going to clean this up a little bit. We're going to take this tab off because it's too bendy. Or actually, let's use that. We're going to use the bendy tab. See, we're being ingenious now. We're thinking on the fly. This is important. We're all discovering this together. All right, so now we're going to take this piece and we're going to cut. I'll draw them out so you can see better what I'm planning on doing here. We're going to cut our ramps. Now, this can be as complicated or as simple as you want it to be. I'm going to do this very simply for now, and once we get the hang of it, we can complicate it more. So I'm going to cut 3 ramps out of this guy. All right, so these I'm just going to cut on these lines now with the craft knife. Again, safely, keeping our fingers out of the way. Believe me, I really hope this one works because, like I said, I haven't tried it yet, and I'm excited because if it does work, the possibilities for making this more complicated are pretty exciting. And also the possibility of turning this into, I don't know if you have cats. We have 3 cats right now. And the possibility of turning this into a cat toy where you put create like a little bit of a cardboard maze in the box and then put a toy in the box and let them chase that. That's a pretty exciting possibility. I suppose you could do the same with a dog and with their treats, but I imagine you run the risk of destroying the box. But maybe that's part of the fun. Okay, we have 2 strips going right now. 1 more to go just for this demonstration. Okay, 3 strips cut out, so we'll save that for a 4th strip. So now that we have our 3 strips, here's our box. We're going to take the first strip and measure. That's why I left this little tab on so we can tape that tab up high. So let's do that first, actually. Well, let's see. Laying it down helps to measure it. I was just showing. Okay, for example, now we're going to measure the length of this ramp across. It's easier to do it laying down, so I will do that, and then we will go from there. Okay, so I've now bent this piece on both sides to fit inside, and I will tape it down and then show you what I did. Oh, before I do that, we're still learning. So at the low end of the ramp, it's important that we cut a hole that is the same size as our marble or our rolling object. So now I'm going to just kind of sketch that out so I don't... And I mean, obviously it can be bigger. Bigger is probably better. Okay. So let's cut that out. And it doesn't have to be a perfect circle, I hope, because those are really hard to cut out of this. Maybe as I practice crafts more, we'll all get better at this. All right, how'd we do? So I know you guys are watching. If you guys have any suggestions for other crafts that you guys have done with cardboard boxes, anything like this, type them in and let us know. It's always nice to share these things. I'm just trying to share some stuff I've discovered. We're always looking for inspiration, seeing where people are coming from. Okay, so now we have our marble-sized hole. I'm going to tape this down. And we are gonna get ready. So that is on the fly. That's looking good. I like this. I'm liking this project. This is fun. And we're learning, there's definitely, as we do this with the little ones, there's definitely physics involved. There's cause and effect. Gravity is a fun thing to think about. Okay, so here's our first ramp. So we've got a nice angle to it, and then we've got the hole at the end. Glue gun probably is better for this than the masking tape, but I wanted to go with something that we've got laying around, and glue guns can get kind of messy too. Okay, so for today I'm going to do 2 ramps just so that you don't have to watch me struggle with this ramp the whole time. All right, so we've got one in place, and we're going to get the next one ready, and this one is going to angle opposite. So we do the same thing opposite what we just did. And again, once we get our distance sorted on the opposite side, we're going to cut that hole for the object to pass through. So these are, if you really want to upscale this and you have a lot of cardboard lying around, like from packing boxes or, shipments and things like that, you could even create a structure maybe on the side of your refrigerator or a big flat space of wall and have the marble run down that series of ramps. That could be, if you really want to go big, that could be a lot of fun too. That's another nice, fun, big space, and it's just always engaging to watch. It's such a simple process, but it's just always so fascinating. to just watch a simple little gravity game like that. Okay, the second one is turning out a lot better because we're crafting and we're learning as we go. So there's a good lesson too. Is just be patient, keep keep going, keep crafting. Okay, so there's our very basic marble ramp maze. And we're going to go live now. We're going to go live and see if it works. I don't know. I know it's hard to see it. Let's see if we can angle this. Oh, here we go. This is the test. I'm going to tilt it back a little bit. Oh, was close. Hey! All right. I think I tilted it too far. Let's see. Try it again. Oh, it worked. And then again, and that's why we put this lip in here, so it captures the marble, which I've. So there it is. So those are our three crafts, cardboard crafts today. So we did. What did we do? A postcard, which I will send to my brother probably tomorrow. We did a puzzle, which this is the adult side, and then the kids side, where they get to put all the pieces together and create the fun image, whatever image is on that box of cereal. And then we did the marble ramp, which worked. So nice work to us, getting the marble ramp to work. So thank you for joining me for these three crafts. This was a lot of fun. I liked these a lot. We're going to be looking for more of these kinds of upcycling crafts, using what's around, because, again, I like the idea of working with what we have, and then that makes us kind of look around and say, oh yeah, well, what are these other things that I have, and how can we find use for these? And it just makes our minds a little bit more playful. Are you guys? I don't know if you guys are still live and you're with me. Do you have any crafts that you're working on right now? Is there anything that you'd like to share with us, or are there any specific crafts that you'd like us to test out here? If you'd like me to try a craft, if you want to say, "Hey, I've always wanted to work with a hot glue gun," and what is it that you like to do with those? Just let me know in the comments here, or you can call the library up and ask for Mr. Zack. And if I'm not there, they'll take a message and they'll get it to me, and we'll see what kind of crafts we can get going on. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you are all doing well. Be kind to yourselves and be kind to others. Stay healthy, and I will see you next week. Thank you.